Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another Nick Crowley. This one is titled YouTube's Missing Killer. Bum, bum, bum. I'm excited for today's video. If you're excited, go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, curl up with something special. Let's get ponderous. And if you're sitting there pondering on what ponderous means, there's your answer. Okay, guys, on the street, this actually just kind of intrigued me. YouTube's Missing Killer. Like, the title of it itself is like, did YouTube have a killer that is now missing? Like, was there like a secret assassin for the YouTube? I don't know. We're going to find out. Like I said, I don't watch these videos until the moment I'm watching them with you guys. So we're going to find out together. Yay. All right. Let's just like a band-aid, people, like a band-aid.
Well, hi everybody, it's Mr. Anime here.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Ethan.
Hi, Elliot Roger here. This is my last video.
We just did a video, Coffee House Crime. Coffee House Crime with this little bitch in it. And if you're wondering why I am calling him a real little bitch, go and watch that video. I will try to do the thing over there. Maybe you'll be. It's somewhere here, people. Leave me alone. I don't know these things. It'll pop up sometime. I'll leave it in the description. Yeah, I'll do that. I will leave the link to Coffee House Crimes video we did on Thursday. I'll link it in the description so you can go back and watch it. He's a real little bitch. That's all I'm saying. I don't like him.
It all has to come to this.
The gunman was a 22-year-old named Elliot Roger.
YouTube has always had a rich history when it comes to killers, which honestly isn't all that surprising.
The dude with the striped shirt, he looked familiar. This feller, he looks familiar. Man charged with killing entire family. Police, mass murder suspect. Studied serial killers. Looks familiar.
As of writing the script, this platform stands as the second largest social media site on the planet, with approximately 2.3 billion users, meaning that in theory, about 30% of the entire world's population has a YouTube account. With that being said, it's no wonder that truly disturbed individuals like Elliot Roger, Trey Sessler, or Ethan Crumley,
charged with terrorism and first-degree murder,
have found their way to the site at some point, as it's something that's unfortunately bound to happen with a platform this massive. But of all the confirmed YouTube killers that have gained infamy over the past 16 years, they all seem to share one similarity, that at this point they've either been captured by police or for whatever reason are no longer alive. And though their stories are still incredibly frightening, they fortunately no longer pose any sort of danger to the public, as they have in some way, shape, or form been accounted for. Well, that is all but one at
They really expect me to believe that some little 5-year-old child is a terrorist and a murderer? It's crazy.
least. As I can only think of a single example of a YouTube killer that after committing their heinous crime has essentially vanished off of the face of the earth. It's a man whose guilt was never in question, yet who is now walking freely among the general public, somewhere out there. And to make his story that much more shocking, it's a man who we're already familiar with.
I want my daughter to know that I love you.
I don't know.
This video is sponsored by Audible, the leading provider of spoken word entertainment. Audible is a one-stop shop for audio entertainment, meaning not just audiobooks, but podcasts, theatrical performances, and guided wellness programs as well. And whether you're looking to be inspired, unwind, or simply be entertained, Audible is a great source for all of these needs, as there's something really convenient about
Since when is love not enough? All you need is love.
being able to just listen to something, as opposed to having to take the time out of your busy life to fully read a book or watch a program. For me personally, I've used Audible.
Okay, I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not even gonna lie. I like to read books. I like to actually open a book, flip pages, feel the paper. You know what I mean? I like books. But audiobooks are amazing. Like when you're doing dishes or just random housework or anything like that, throw it in. Like normally I listen to music and stuff like that, but sometimes you just want to hear a good book. You know what I mean? I know, I'm weird. Don't judge. I don't care. Just, you know. Shh. Just,
To listen to Stephen King's The Stand, which I had on in the background when I was cooking, working, and especially when I was taking long drives. And fans of my channel
No.
will likely take a
No, I cannot do audiobooks while in a vehicle. My dumb ass is falling asleep. Yeah, I don't know why. I have been like that my whole life. I have got to have music on, and it's got to be like upbeat music, and I have to have the window cracked to where there's wind hitting me in the face. Or I go night night.
special interest in Audible's large selection of horror content, but other than that, they really have something for everyone. So if this sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and visit audible.com/Nick or text Nick to 500-500, which will not only get you a free 30-day trial, but you'll also receive 60% off your first 3 months. March 24th, 2014. An obscure home video is uploaded to YouTube with the title, "Cute Baby Laughing at Mommy Blowing Bubbles." The clip shows a mother holding her daughter as she blows gum bubbles, much to the enjoyment of the baby, who is laughing along, completely infatuated with the ordeal. This would be the first video published to a channel called Trent Paschal, which was run by a man of the same name. And pictured within this video was his wife Savannah, the mother of his 2 children, along with his daughter Mackenzie. From the outside looking in, Trent was clearly a man who cared deeply about his family, as many of the uploads on this channel centered around them. And this theme would continue on for years to come, as Trent would officially switch to a new channel called Big Money Tea, where he continued posting more family content, using the page as a way to document their memories together, along with occasionally showing off his RC cars and tech tips. His videos were fairly low quality, and the channel is about what you would typically expect from a dad who was just using the site to archive footage, which equated to the channel being as obscure as it gets, as none of his videos would ever gain any serious traction, or at least all but one. As on
I mean, I can see where that'd be cool though. I don't know if I would want to put like every family memory on YouTube just so I can go back and watch YouTube. Like that wouldn't be my like go-to thing. But I can. That's cool. That's cool.
October 21st, 2020, Trent would post one of the more infamous videos in YouTube's recent history, which instantly turned this mundane channel into one of the site's darkest.
I'm recording this because I want my daughter to know that I love you, Paschal. I'm so sorry that I've done this. I want you to know that you mean everything to me. I didn't choose this. Your mom chose this. She's been cheating on me for a long time. I didn't do nothing wrong to her.
Much like his time had began on YouTube all the way back in 2014, this video, his final video, would also have his wife Savannah and daughter Mackenzie as its primary focus, with its title simply being his daughter's full name. Only, unlike his inaugural video, this clip was far more disturbing.
I put everything into this relationship. I have done nothing to your mom. I've never hit her. I've never hurt her. I've never called her names.
The video shows Trent as he calmly addresses his daughter, explaining that he had caught her mother cheating, and that he was sorry and heartbroken for what was to come. The video then ends abruptly as a noise can be heard in the background, leading him to run and hide in a dark room. Without context, it's hard to understand what is happening with this video, though naturally, many would assume that it was in regards to an impending divorce.
Yeah.
However, the reality was far more bleak than that.
I mean, we know it probably wasn't because, I mean, YouTube's missing killer. But I can see that. Like, watching it out of nowhere, you just be like, dude, you're really sorry. Because, you know, a lot of people are like that. They think that if they get divorced, the kids' lives are just permanently ruined. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, it don't matter if you're with someone you don't love. A kid's gonna see that, and it's gonna fuck them up. Just maybe not as bad, maybe worse. I don't know. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just saying, like, unhappy is unhappy, whether it's divorce or whatever. So but some people like that. Like, divorce is the worst of the worst. So I can see that. I can see that.
As in the moments immediately following this video, Trent would approach Savannah with a loaded handgun, and in an instant, open fire, shooting her twice and eventually killing her. Trent would then go on to upload the video to YouTube shortly after, not as an apology for some divorce or anything like that, but as an apology to his son and daughter for killing their own mother.
What?
Making matters more disturbing, while Trent talks, he appears completely emotionless, and despite multiple attempts to fake cry, no tears ever fall.
I'm hurting so bad. I didn't do nothing wrong to her.
And all the while he's talking, he seems more focused on his hair and looks rather than anything else.
I'm like, why me? My hair's a mess and I look horrible. Oh, sorry. Take these off.
And instead, he seems totally void of any regret or empathy for the situation that was now unfolding, and the fact that he had now robbed his children of their mother, all because he thought she was cheating. And ultimately, he paints himself as the real victim, as their mother was the one that had supposedly cheated on him. The context of it all made this story almost unbearably upsetting, and it would only get worse as new details emerged. In the days following, it would be revealed that the noise heard while filming that had initially caused Trent to run and hide was, in all likelihood, Savannah herself arriving home.
You love me like your own.
And according to the police report, Trent was hidden within the shower of their bathroom when he ambushed Savannah and subsequently took her life. Which, if you listen closely to the end of the video, you can clearly hear the rustling of shower curtains.
Oh, fuck.
Implying that this video was likely taken mere minutes before the murder took place, and he was seen and heard here on camera, hiding in preparation to carry this out. Given the shocking nature of this situation and this video, the story unsurprisingly became huge news across the world, and it even made a spot on YouTube's Darkest Channels 3. But if you had watched my video back when it was released, you'll likely be a bit confused as to why we're discussing it here, as if you remember, Trent's story had seemingly come to an absolute end the very day that he posted his last video.
Breaking news from the Greenspoint area tonight, where a Harris County Sheriff's deputy shoots a man in front of a shopping center.
Investigators say the man shot was on the run, accused of killing his estranged wife.
We have a picture of the suspect in this case. That suspect is 48-year-old Trent Paschal.
Immediately following the slaying of Savannah, Trent would flee the scene, with police later tracking him down in a Walmart parking lot in Houston, Texas. There, Trent would refuse to comply with police demands, as he faced the officers with the murder weapon still in his hand. And in one fleeting moment of desperation, Trent would raise that weapon, causing police to immediately open fire. Thankfully, Trent was unable to discharge his weapon in time, and no officers would be injured. Though Trent himself would be shot multiple times, leaving him in critical condition, though he would eventually go on to survive the ordeal. And after nearly 2 months of recovery...
I mean, after all that, and then you're going to point the guns at the cops, I mean, you're going to get shot. Oh, but is that what he was trying to do? Like, just, what is it called? Classified suicide by cop or whatever? Assisted suicide by cop. Basically, you do whatever you can, that way you don't take your own life, but you have someone else do it, right? That's probably what he's trying to do.
He would be back to full health and placed behind bars. This is not only where Trent's story ended on YouTube's Darkest Channels 3, but it also seemed to be the ending of his story in general, as he would likely spend the rest of his life in prison. And truthfully, out of all the cases I've covered on this channel, I probably would have picked this as one of the least likely to have any major updates, as it seemed about as open and shut as it gets. But little did I know that at the time of posting that video over a year ago, Trent Paschal wasn't even in prison.
What?
Following his recovery in December of 2020, Trent would then be turned over to authorities, with his guilt being completely certain, as other than his own incriminating video, and the fact that he had raised his weapon at police officers, he was also caught on camera by his neighbor immediately following the shooting, as he was talking on the phone to his aunt and confessing to everything he did. Plus, Savannah's own mother had been with her when she was shot, and had witnessed everything before escaping the scene. Trent was undoubtedly guilty of murder. Yet, despite this and the disturbing behavior exhibited before and after his crime, the courts would make the bizarre decision to allow him to go out on bail. The decision was shocking and immediately met with criticism, as in Texas, bail can be denied to those who the court deemed to be a risk to the community. And due to the fact that Trent had obviously murdered his wife, pulled a gun on police officers, and the fact that his children were still out there, well, most considered him to be just that, a risk to the community. Yet for whatever reason, the judge didn't see it this way, with his bail being posted at $250,000. And despite this...
What kind of fucked up judge is this? Most judges are like, nah, bro. This judge is like, oh yeah, and we'll even make it cheap for you too.
Steep cost, his parents would scrape the money together and pay to have their son released, who, other than wearing an ankle monitor and showing up to regular court hearings, would be able to live a somewhat normal life until his inevitable conviction. By the end of December, Trent Paschal, the undeniable killer, would be released among the general public in Houston, Texas. The decision was immediately met with disagreement that would only grow over time, as within the span of just 2 months, Trent would find his way back into custody on 2 separate occasions, both of which for violating the terms of his bail, though in each instance, they allowed him to go back on bail. There was every opportunity to assure that this man never walked this earth freely again, and yet every time they chose to let him leave. And unsurprisingly, these dangerous decisions would eventually lead to a devastating consequence. On April 13th, 2021, a call would be made to authorities in Houston, Texas, stating that a used car had been stolen from a local dealership. The caller described how an anonymous man had entered the business and asked to drive a black Chevy Tahoe parked in the lot, to which the employee, a man named Jack Ford, happily obliged. As the two set out for their drive, Jack began to notice that the man was acting somewhat strange, calling his behavior suspicious, but not enough to stop the test early. However, out of the blue, the man would then turn sharply into a gas station parking lot and bring the car to a sudden stop. Once there, he would pull a knife from his pocket and order Jack out of the car before quickly speeding away. Police would later arrive on the scene, where, upon checking the CCTV footage from the gas station, they'd make the startling discovery that the suspect looked eerily similar to Trent Paschal. But this couldn't be, as Trent had an ankle monitor on, which showed that he was still at his parents' house, who had taken him in after posting bail.
Yeah.
Confused, authorities would rush to the home where, rather than finding Trent, they would instead find his ankle monitor, clipped in half and lying on the floor. It was Trent Paschal who had stolen that car, and not only was he armed and dangerous, but he was now officially on the run.
I thought when you cut them damn things, it breaks a current in them and, like, they get a signal. I don't know. I've never had to wear an ankle monitor. I generally don't do nothing stupid. I've never had to be put on house arrest. I mean, I'm sure there's times where I probably could have. You just don't get caught. All kidding aside, though, I've never been on house arrest. But I've had friends. Even whenever I was in school, like I have friends that did really stupid shit and was put on house arrest, and they were allowed to go to school and stuff like that. And you know, you see it on there, and you'd be like, first time I seen it, I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was like an ankle bracelet. I was like, what the fuck's an ankle bracelet? This is a house arrest. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you at school if you're on house arrest? And they were saying, like, back then, like, if it got too wet or anything, like, you couldn't take a bath or anything like that. You could take showers, but, you know, you had to be easy around it. And if, like, you did something stupid and something broke on or anything, like, a signal would go to whatever, like, they'd be there to have your ass. You know what I mean? Just wondering.
The news was extremely concerning, not only for members of the community, but for Savannah's parents in particular, as during Savannah's murder, her own mother Shirley was present at the scene, leaving her with the possibility that Trent could come back to finish the job. But even more worrisome was the fact that Savannah's parents had become the guardians to Trent and Savannah's children, who were now left without parents. And with Trent on the loose, there was a very real chance that he could try and take his kids back, using whatever means necessary. But it wasn't just Savannah's parents who were left devastated by the news, as Trent's very own parents had now been put in a truly awful position. They were the ones who had paid for his release 3 separate times, which added up to a whopping $550,000. And with Trent on the run, his parents were set to lose all that money. To make matters worse, this was money that they allegedly didn't even have. And they were forced to use collateral as well when signing the contracts, which would also be taken from them due to Trent's behavior. And according to those close with the family, that collateral had included their very own house, meaning that with Trent gone, not only were his parents going to lose all their money, but they'd also be losing their home as well. The same home that they allowed Trent to stay in.
I'd kill that derpy little fuck. You wouldn't have to worry about taking his ass to jail or to please find him. If I was his dad, I would go to where I would find him. I don't know how dads find the people they're looking for, but it's like instilled into us. I would find him, and I would punch him in the face until the front of his face was in the back of his face. Just saying. Make me lose all my shit.
So despite everything they did for him, Trent would just turn around and put them in a situation that would essentially make them homeless. With Trent now completely missing, all parties involved were searching desperately for him, as from the second he disappeared, his whereabouts were completely unknown, meaning that his next move was impossible to predict, a next move that to this day has yet to come. As since that moment Trent went on the run back in April, there has been no substantial updates on where he might be. At one point, U.S. Marshals believed there was a sighting in Green Bay, Wisconsin, though to this day nothing has come of it. And other than this, there's been no other reported sightings or clues as to where he might be. And for all intensive purposes, Trent has essentially dropped off the face of the earth. This is a situation I became aware of practically right after he had escaped, and since then I've been checking for news almost daily to see if there's been any sort of development, as I had a strong feeling that at some point, the guilt that Trent must be feeling for basically ruining his parents' life would finally eat at him enough to turn himself in. But so far, nothing. Which just further showcases how deeply narcissistic this man is, something that was already on full display within his final video. And with Trent having completely vanished,
What if he didn't vanish? What if someone recognized him and just killed his ass? Or what if he did something stupid and he's dead? Or what if he himself? You know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe the pressure of everything that did happen got the better of him, and he, you know what I mean? He offed himself. There's that possibility. I mean, I hate to say that. I really do. I want him to have his day in court, and I want him to go someplace where he gets in the butt a lot. But what if he just ended it? And just no one has ever found his body, and his parents are still gonna lose everything, and just, oh, that'd be shit, bro.
The big fear now is that he is going to come after his children, whether it be today, tomorrow, or 10 years from now, which is something that Savannah's parents now have to live with on a daily basis, as they've even told the press that we're constantly on guard, constantly watching. It's high anxiety. It's been a very hard year. And until Trent is hopefully one day caught, they are sadly going to have to continue living with this fear. And given the way this case has gone so far, I can safely say that Trent Paschal's story is nowhere near over. Okay, so I have a last second update here. I had put off making this video for months because I've been waiting for a huge development to happen. And finally, it did. And of course it happened right after I completely finished this video. But as it turns out, YouTube's missing killer isn't missing anymore. Just before the start of the new year, police in Marion County, Florida were alerted to a man matching Trent's description, who had been spotted in a nearby trailer park, with the caller noting that the man was still currently residing there within his van. Following the tip, authorities would gather evidence and eventually head to the area on January 3rd to confront this man in person and to see if it truly was Trent. The vehicle would quickly be located, where inside, a man would refuse to step out. With their weapons raised, police would knock on the window and yell at the man to surrender, when suddenly a single gunshot rang out from inside the van, followed by silence. Inside the vehicle, Trent Paschal was dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Pussy.
Looking back on Trent's first ever upload on YouTube, all the way back in 2014, is haunting, as in this moment, they were a happy family. How could anyone have imagined that things would end up here?
Accused of fatally shooting Savannah Paschal. Paschal fatally shot himself when sheriff's deputies arrived.
As nearly 8 years later, this little girl and her brother are now left without either of their parents, both of which having been taken away from them in the worst ways imaginable. It's truly one of the most awful stories to come from YouTube, as the collapse of this family was so sudden and so brutal. But at least we can find some peace in the fact that it's over now, and Trent is no longer here to cause any more pain, and instead he'll only live on in infamy, just like the many other YouTube killers before him. A tragic story that this time has finally reached its end. I want to give a huge shout out to my gold tier patrons and my god tier.
Alright. No lie though. I'll try to leave the link in the description for the one dude I kept calling like a real little bitch at the beginning of it. I'll try to link it in the description. It's a good video too. It's Coffee House Crime. I know it's not for everyone, but I like it. I liked it. It was really good. I really enjoyed today's story. Not the ending I want. I mean, I'm glad the piece of shit's dead. But I really wanted him to get his day like in court and sent to prison, and I wanted, you know, some dude with like a walrus peen to just come up and just straight into his butt for at least 10, 20 years before, you know. Oh, Wishing one hand, shitting the other, and all that. Alright. Yeah, I really enjoyed this story. If y'all enjoyed today's story as much as I did, please go down there and leave a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow, and I have seen all the love that y'all have been sending me, and I thank you all. Thank you all so much. I really do appreciate it. It makes me smile. Alright. If you're a fan of the spooky, scary, strange, think about subscribing, cause we do some weird shit, bro. I'm just saying, like, we do. This is how it is. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Man, YouTube's full of people who quit college, have ADHD, and murder people. Like, we need a better screening process for YouTube, bro.